Hey everyone, welcome back to Dev Parkour. In this video, we're going to fix some of the authentication issues, or actually user registration issues that are currently going on in the live demo version of Glassminnow. I'm going to kind of walk through how I'm going to track down this issue and kind of live code the fix. I know more or less what's actually going on, so this video won't be too much chasing me around as I figure stuff out. But I am still going to walk through my thought processes and in some cases what I did in preparation for this video to figure out what the actual issue is and kind of narrow it down. So without further ado, let's switch over to, well, let's not start with Visual Studio Code. Let's actually start with Edge. So if you've gone to the demo Glassminnow site and tried to register, let's just real quick try to register. You may have gotten something like the following error. Okay, I've got username, password, same password, and an email. Click register. You may have gotten an error that says something like this: unable to send an email to you, please notify us. This is not good, right? And unfortunately, it's not good on multiple levels because the way that this is coded, there is actually no record being written to the database, which is bad. That's not what we want at all. Even if registration fails, we do want a record to get written to the database. So let's switch over to let's switch over to our development environment, our development version. See if we can get a little bit more logs. So right now we've got, let me bump this up for you. Okay, so we've got we have our Glassminnow dev container running, and you can see it's running on port 49153. Let's just run the logs. And let's just get 10 logs and let's follow. Okay. So yeah, all looks good. Let's go back to this tab. Let's do the same exact thing. So we go over to register bparks test, password, bparks plus test at brianparks.me. Click register. And now, because we're actually in development mode, we have a stack trace. And let's see if we can, that's not exactly what I wanted to do. Let's view source. Sure, resubmit the form. Why not? It won't do anything. We can actually see what the error we're getting is. Uncaught type error count, and we can see there's lots of pale stuff in the layout render. Okay, but it looks like what's happening is in the auth module, which is where this registration code lives. You can see it's in user, the user class in a method called userpy add user. One of the few references to userpy that still exists in this code. It's trying to send an email, and apparently it's trying to count something, and it's dying. So there are a few different things we can do. First up, turns out we didn't even need that log. let's just go over to Visual Studio Code, and you can see this this catch type error. This is something that I put in there just to get things running, and you'll notice that it does some hackery. So it still logs the message as we intended, but it doesn't set this mail failure flag to true. When we actually put the real fix in, we will set the mail failure flag to true, but we'll change the sorts of things that does. So let's just copy this code, because this, I actually edited it. You can see this is grayed out. This is in the actual Glassminnow code, but this is in a module, a package, a dependency. So this isn't in any particular place that's actually going to affect production code. This was convenient for development, but really not the right way to do this. So we need to actually grab the Pales auth code. So let's grab ourselves a terminal, and let's go into our working directory, and we'll git clone git at github.com eparks Pales auth. And these changes that we're making will actually take us through a couple different components, a couple different modules, plugins, modules, libraries, vendors, whatever terminology you want to use, and we'll actually get to see how they all interplay together. So let's open up Pales auth, and yes, I trust the authors. And let's see. So that was in models. That's in user. Let's get some highlighting, and then I think that was right here, right? Yeah, line 101, 102, somewhere around there. 101, 102. Okay, so let's just paste that code in here. Realistically, that's what we want. We want the same thing, whether there's a type error for whatever reason, or a full-on exception. Now, I do want to get to the bottom of why there's actually a type error going on, but let's go one step at a time. The next thing we want to do is, it would be useful if everything saved, even if there were a mail failure. So let's just pull all of this out of the if, because this is the way that most websites function. Even if there's an issue sending email to activate your account or something like that, your account still gets created, and then someone can go in and manually intervene, or you can do like forgot password once once email is back up and running again, and get access to your account. So this is more in line with how most services on the internet work anyway. Now, the one thing I'm not sure about is this return true. Let's see if we can find out where. No, we can't. Let's see if we can find where user_py_add_user is actually being called. So let's see. If user_py_add_user returns false, if not the results of that call, then we check if there's a mail failure and add mail error, or a SQL failure, and then we add the SQL error. So that should be totally fine. It's a little bit convoluted, and long term we probably want to refactor this. But if there's a mail failure, if there's not a mail failure, we should return true. If there's, so I think somewhere up here, if there's a SQL error, I think we don't even get to this this function. So this is actually kind of convoluted. So let's change this around. So if not this mail failure, return true. So realistically, we want to return that there wasn't a mail failure, right? So return not this mail failure. That makes sense to me. So let's save that. Now, the other thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that that mail error message still shows up, right? Because even if there was a mail error, we want to save to the database. But if there was a mail error, we still want to show that message indicating that, sorry, you won't actually get an email. So that's totally fine. If there's a mail failure, add mail error to the errors. So I think this is all we need to do. Let's just commit and push. Save user entity, even if there's a mail failure, and git push, and I think in order for this to actually get used, we have to add a new tag. So it looks like 141 is the last one. Let's go with 142. This isn't a huge change. So git tag v1.4.2, git push -- tags. And then for whatever reason, Packagist isn't picking up changes to my Pales stuff. So this would be Pales auth. Let's see what it says. Yeah, this package is not auto updated. 141 is the last one. So let's go ahead and update. Let me bump up the font size here. So I just clicked this update link button, and now you can see 1.4.2 is there. Right. So let's go back here. This is Glassminnow. This is the main Glassminnow thing. So let's just see what effect that had. We'll go over to composer.json and change Pales auth to 1.4.2, anything greater than or equal to 1.4.2, and composer install. Yes, composer update. I always forget how to use composer, so this should do the trick. Yeah, downloading Pales auth 1.4.2. Cool. And any second now, it should actually finish. Hopefully. Come on. Network's still up, so it should continue to download. Don't know what's taking it so long. Sometimes oh, there it goes. I was going to say sometimes it gets stuck. I was going to kill it and try it again, but it looks like it just took a second. Okay, so there we go. We've got Pales auth 1.4.2. I've probably got a couple other things updated, but now let's see what happens when we try to register that user. That's the wrong tab. Here we go. So let's go back here. Again, this is our local dev environment. Let's sign in. Let's go to register. bparks test. Super complicated password. And just when I say super complicated, That's what I mean by super complicated. And now, unable to send an email to you, please notify us. However, if we actually we pull up Heidi SQL and look at what's in the database, when it spins up, local, Glassminnow dev, that's user pi sessions, users, and we go to data, we can see that we actually have the bparks test user, and well, the sign up date shows up as a number, but I can promise you that reflects essentially the current timestamp. So it just got added. All right, so now let's try to figure out what's going on with email and why it's not sending email. Sorry, had to pause quickly because my cat was busy causing trouble, but I'm back now. So we have this stack trace, and you can see that we addressed this part of the stack trace. So we had some issues there, but let's go into this action mailer stack trace and figure out why. I don't even know why it's trying to count something that is null, and how we can better defend against that. So that's somewhere in action mailer message, or action mailer transports SendGrid transport. Yes, I know you're upset because you were causing trouble and I took it away from you, but the cat'll be okay. Okay, so this is another package. So we're going to go back to WSL, and let's git clone git at github.com bparks, let's see, pails. This would be action mailer. All right. Pails action mailer. And open this up in Visual Studio Code. Yes, I trust the authors. And let's see what we've got going on here. So this is actually a very simple package. Most of the logic happens in this message class. And we have, I think it's basically a, like it's kind of a magic function. Somewhere in here. It's like call. No, mailer. It might happen in mailer. Yeah, call static. So call static, it creates a message, and then it sends. So if we go back to that stack trace, we should be able to drill down specifically to where the issue is happening. So source message, line 23 at deliver. Visual Studio Code, here we go. Line 23 in message at deliver. This transport deliver. Okay, and it passes this. So if we go to SendGrid transport and deliver, it passes in the message, tries to create SendGrid, a new SendGrid, and I'm guessing this is where the issue is, line 35. Are we correct? Line 57. Okay. At SendGrid send. 57. SendGrid send. So, but I'm guessing this is actually a delayed propagation issue. So something here, username, password, or options are null. And what I would bet is that it's because options is null somehow. Yeah, let's go back to Glassminnow and see how we're actually configuring Pale's action mailer. So this would be in, let's see, app initializers, maybe. Pale's application. Let's see. So maybe in. No, it's not there. Are we sure it's not here? Pale's auth initialize, active record config, Pale's application configure. Permissions. Here we go. Pale's action mailer, set transport, send grid, username, password, from address, from name, Glassminnow. This is very curious. I would think this would be working. I mean, obviously this is going to fail because that's not a real username and this is not a real password. But let's see if we can get any more information from the stack trace. Send grid, email, to web format, email, get headers JSON. I wonder if it's actually having an issue with the actual message. I'm not really sure. This one actually might need some deeper digging. However, I do know that, or I suspect at the very least that, based on what I'm seeing here, that if I go over here and if I actually change the username and password to something. And let's just say, for sake of argument and good best practices, we turn this into getenv send grid username and getenv. I just copied that, didn't I? Why not just paste that? Make this send grid password. Then we should be able to set environment variables, send grid username, send grid password, and have it running just fine. I do know one caveat to this. SendGrid did change something fairly recently. Well, by fairly recently, I mean within the last 5 years. So that it doesn't use username and password anymore. It uses an API key. I might have to actually change this to specifically use API key. I'll noodle around with this, and one way or another, within I want to say within a few days of this video being published, you will be able to sign up on the demo site. At the very least, you can sign up. It will save your username and password, and I'll make a point of going through and manually activating accounts, and I'll send emails to anyone who's created an account when I manually activate your account. So that's probably not a fully satisfying end to the video, but at least we got somewhere. So if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button. If you want to see more like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, so you'll be notified when new videos come out. If you have any comments, suggestions, questions about what I did, the process that I went through, go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section below. I love reading the comments and I love responding to the comments. It helps inspire me to think of new topics for future videos as well. So if you have something in mind, go ahead and leave that down there as well. With that, I think that's it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.